Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Home Video Library. I'm your host Nathan P. Butler. As in the last few episodes, we are continuing to take a look at some items that are in my Star Wars Home Video Library that I haven't had a chance to show you before because I've been focused on official releases. In this case, we're continuing to look at some Star Wars parodies that were officially legally released because, of course, that's how parodies work under copyright law, that have entered my Star Wars Home Video Library. In this case, one coming from Matt Fry as part of his big donation of his collection into mine a while back that I just haven't had a chance to show you. And this one is interesting because it is something that has a tie back into one of the companies we've seen before, Film Threat, from back when we looked at Star Woids. And it is something being produced around the same time as an official Star Wars release, R2-D2 Beneath the Dome, which is, of course, sort of a look at R2-D2 as if he was a real actor and not Kenny Baker playing R2-D2, but that R2-D2 was the actor playing himself and his descent and whatnot through his years in Hollywood and so forth. Sort of around the same time that was being made, a similar fan production, a fan parody, was being made of a similar style of decline, except this one about Jar Jar Binks. So what we're looking at here is F, not E, True Hollywood Story for Jar Jar Binks. That is this. As far as I know, this is the only DVD release. I don't know if there was a VHS release of this one at all, but a DVD release here. So it says Jar Jar Binks, F, not E, but it looks like the E logo, right? True Hollywood Story. Okay. We have shots of him being, bullied, shot of him as a model, and so on and so on. Just different shots. The guy they have playing sort of a fake version of George Lucas here. Couple of taglines on here with the DVD and Film Threat down at the bottom. The taglines read, "A hilarious parody by Los Angeles Times," and this one that irks me. "Much funnier than George Lucas in Love, Dark Horizons." No, it is not. It is not even close to as funny as George Lucas in Love. We covered that in a previous episode. But as I've said, humor is subjective, and yeah, I would say this is funnier than, to me at least, funnier than Hardware Wars, funnier than what we saw with Star Warped, not as funny by far as George Lucas in Love, and really to some degree this one nowadays, looking back on it, has sort of a darker connotation to it, because it really focuses on the rise and decline of Jar Jar, and the focus on Jar Jar, as if Jar Jar was the actor, not Ahmed Best. But we now know about all the struggles that Ahmed Best went through, and all the issues he had with fandom, piling on Jar Jar, which was, seen as piling on to him over the years, and the toll that it took on him. So seeing this now really has kind of a weird, almost icky feeling to it. But I try to look at these in terms of the context in which they were made. It's still kind of negative. It's definitely a parody mocking Jar Jar. But it's done in a way that treats the material, I don't want to say seriously, but the way you would see with a True Hollywood Story, where it's more sort of mocking the format of True Hollywood Story than mocking Jar Jar much of the time, because Jar Jar was seen as like the big star. And then the decline and everything is there, which is more sort of mocking True Hollywood Story, I would say. But definitely it's an odd one. On the spine, we have the fake George Lucas, Film Threat, Jar Jar Binks, the F, True Hollywood Story, and DVD. On the back, we have the barcode, iFilm, First Annual Online Movie Awards, Best Satire, Jar Jar Exposed. You'sa laugh, you'sa cry, you'sa gonna die. Can't believe I read it like that. Text we'll check out here with the fake Natalie Portman over here. A Spirited Spoof, Entertainment Weekly. A couple of fake magazine or newspaper covers here. List of special features we'll take a look at in a second. The company Hannah Monkey goes behind this. And the filmmaker bio, tech specs, Variety, a nominated premiere of the year, Film Threat, and legalese with the DVD symbol at the bottom. I would note here the filmmaker bio, if it gives you a sense of the maturity level of some of the content of this. The filmmaker bio is Leif Einarsson, if I'm saying that correctly, works in Los Angeles as a digital character specialist for films like Scooby-Doo, Triple X, and Panic Room. He is happily married, but still finds time to spank it. So we should definitely be impressed by the fact that this apparently is a film made by middle school boys. Let's see. But yeah, running time's only 12 minutes, but there's a lot of extra stuff on here as well. The text itself about it says, women loved him. Men wanted to be him. That stereotypical line. But behind the glamour and the fame, there lived a dark side that tragedy would soon expose. Was it the money? Was it the drugs? Was it the hype? Everything is revealed in Jar Jar Binks, the F True Hollywood Story. Thus begins this highly popular Star Wars mockumentary, which exposes Jar Jar Binks, one of the most, or least, beloved characters from a galaxy far, far away. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll crap your pants. Again, middle school boys. The disc itself, pretty plain. Jar Jar Binks, F True Hollywood Story, Hannah Monkey Productions, Film Threat, DVD. You got your runtime and stuff down there, and then all your legalese down at the bottom. This was coming out. Apparently, it was made in 2000, which would have been before R2-D2 Beneath the Dome, actually released by Film Threat in 2003, based on the dates that are on here. So let's see, special features, again in my notes that are written in my horrible handwriting here. There are 3 deleted scenes. There is an alternate ending that features flowers on a grave and Force ghosts with lightsabers of Jar Jar, Elvis, and Jesus together. A commentary, there's a commentary by the producer and co-writer / actor, another commentary by the director, and then there is supposedly under commentaries, like this commentary from a fake George Lucas called a couch side chat, but that's actually done as a video, not as audio commentary while you're actually watching the thing. There are 2 galleries of so-called trick photos, which are just, you know, like photoshopped stuff, like the magazine cover type stuff here. There are production images and notes. It lists a screenplay, but instead it's just a message telling you, like, why the hell would you ever want to read a screenplay like this, and then shows you more images. There's a production images gallery, and there are 3 outtakes there. I will say that if there's anything that stands out to me with this, there's a few things. One is an interesting comment, which was, everybody loved Jar Jar, except the people who saw episode 1, but how many of those people could there possibly be? Interesting. And interesting, and it really kind of fits the E! True Hollywood Story for a lot of male stars kind of thing. But there's a Yoda sort of background interview where Yoda's all shadowed out, who says, fame leads to money, money leads to women, women lead to suffering. Which certainly is the thing that we see a lot with the E! True Hollywood Story stuff for male actors who, as you know, it's the money, then comes the women, then comes eventually the downfall. Though I'm not sure if that has anything to do with the women. It's usually drugs or something like that instead. And we also get Jar Jar's supposed real name, Jared Herbert Binkelstein. Interesting. There's also, I guess I should say, there's a cast crew section as well that has a cast crew, music, and a Hannah Monkey Productions sections that all have like bios that are just like an image with text of a bio. It's an interesting one. It plays out like an E! True Hollywood Story type of thing, right? It's, you know, here's all the good times, supposed candid footage of things, and then the eventual downfall through Hollywood. You know, the calls stopped coming. It's the idea that, you know, he was this big star leading up to episode 1, and then after episode 1, it was all downhill from there. Like, people saw the film, were like, oh, you weren't as good as we thought you would be. It starts to fall. And then eventually the idea that there's a question of, did he really kill himself? Or did he fake his death, and is he really alive out there? It's this great mystery of society. Hope I didn't spoil it for anyone there, as if anybody's actually going to go back and watch this, you know, now in 2023. It's an odd one. Again, it has its funny moments. It's not my favorite throughout, certainly. But again, it takes a special kind of parody to really hit it with me. So, you know, I'm not surprised that it didn't. The fact that it had some moments in it that got me to laugh was probably about as much as it could be asked for from most kind of mainstream parodies here. But if you're looking for this one, it's another Star Wars parody that has had an official release, in this case through Film Threat, that you can get your hands on out there, at least as this DVD version of it. Again, my thanks to Matt Fry for providing this for my collection as part of that donation of his collection into mine. And yeah, don't take my word for it when it comes to anything about humor. If you think something sounds interesting, just watch it and see for yourself if you find it funny. My taste in humor a lot of times doesn't fit. Like, you'd never get me to watch Friends or Big Bang Theory. Just not me. So, you know, don't ever take my word for anything about something being funny. I would like to think that if it's funny to me, it'd be funny to a lot of people, because it takes a lot to make me find it funny. But for most things, if I find it dry, you might find it hilarious for all I know. So, yeah, F True Hollywood Story here for Jar Jar Binks is one to check out if you're looking for parodies to add to your Star Wars home video library. With that, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with the home video viewers.